Hey y'all, this is Cindy, and since we didn't use all of our strawberries in making our strawberry freezer jam, we decided to make some regular strawberry jam. Okay, so with some of the strawberries that we picked today, I'm making strawberry jam. I'm going to be using the Ball strawberry jam recipe, the one that does not call for pectin. Okay, so I've already measured out 5 pounds of strawberries, and what I'm doing is putting a single layer of strawberries into my bowl here, and then I'm going to mash them with the potato masher and then put them into my saucepan, and then I'll add the sugar. And by the way, the recipe for this will be in the description of the video. But once I get these mashed, then I'll add them to this, and I'll add my sugar. So I have those nice and mashed. And you really need a large saucepan for this. Okay, so I've mashed up all my strawberries, and now I'm going to add the sugar to them. So I've added the sugar to the strawberries, and then I'm going to put my saucepan on the stove. I'm going to turn it up to high and bring it to a boil. Once it reaches boiling, I'm going to turn it down to medium high, and I'm going to leave it on that until it reaches gelling point, which will be 220 degrees. And you want to stir it pretty often to keep it from sticking.
These jars have been sterilized and heated, and now we're pulling them out so Cindy can add her strawberry stuff.
Okay, so I'm filling the jars now with the hot liquid. They need 1/4 of an inch headspace. So I've filled up my jar and left 1/4 of an inch headspace, and then took out any air bubbles that were in it. Now I'm going to wipe the rim so that it doesn't prevent the seal from sealing. Then I'm going to get my lid out of my hot water here with the magnet. Just kind of dry it off a little bit. Make sure it's dry. Make sure the seal is kind of dry. Then I'm going to place it on the jar, centered. And I'm going to put my lid on for canning. Now that all the lids have been put on properly, we're going to transfer the jars to the hot water bath and process them for 15 minutes with 1 inch of water above the lids. Okay, so now that it's done, it's gone for 15 minutes, we're going to turn the water off and take the lid off and let it sit for 5 minutes. Okay, so now they've sat for 5 minutes, so I'm going to take them out of the water bath and set them out on the counter, and then we will check them in 12 hours. And fortunately, I'm already starting to hear some pinging, which is good. I imagine the others will start before long. And in 12 hours, when we check them, we're going to take the rings off, and then wipe down the jars, label them, and store them. So that completes this process.